What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Blue Driver. Here's the deal. Your check engine light comes on. What are you going to do? Step one, get yourself a Blue Driver Pro scan tool. Blue Driver can read all the computer systems in your vehicle, tell you what the problem is, and suggest solutions from a database of millions of ASE verified fixes. Then fix the problem yourself or head to the garage armed with knowledge. Either way, you're in control. Plus, Blue Driver can do so much more than just read codes. View live data from your vehicle, read freeze frame and mode 6, do a smog check, stay up to date on recalls and service bulletins, and much, much more. That's why Blue Driver is the best-selling scan tool on Amazon. Don't just take our word for it. Check the thousands of positive reviews on Amazon. Reviews written by real people who saved a ton of time and money by using Blue Driver. For a very limited time, take advantage of our special Smoking Tire offer. Visit bluedriver.com/TST to get 10% off the Blue Driver Pro Scan Tool. Don't let your car troubles be a mystery again. Get Blue Driver today at bluedriver.com/TST. That's bluedriver.com/TST. And you know what I'm starting to see, folks? In the comments, in the videos, I'm starting to see people who have bought the Brio Beardscape and are super stoked on it. I've gotten DMs on Instagram that are like, Matt, you weren't actually kidding. This battery really does last forever. These blades really are this sharp. And you know what? I wasn't kidding, because I actually do advertise things on this show that work, and I do use the Brio Beardscape, and it's pretty much the only buzzer I've been using for the last year and change. It's got these ceramic blades. They stay nice and sharp. They don't cause the pinches or the pulls. You know, I hate those, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. It's got a really powerful motor, gets through my Middle Eastern Arab hair, no problem. I got the thickest beard on earth, folks, and this thing hacks through it like a chainsaw. It is money. And that battery, it's big. It's like a Tesla 100D big. It's got range, folks. It lasts, for me, the way I use a Beardscape, the battery lasts a year. If you shave every day, it's not going to last a year. But I shave once a week with this thing. I buzz myself, my whole head and face, and doing that, it lasts an entire year. Go to Brio for Life, BRIO, the number 4life.com, and use code SMOKING at checkout to get the best price on the Brio Beardscape. Take one home, give them as gifts. The holidays are coming up pretty soon. It's time to start thinking about that stuff and stocking up. Get them for your husband, your brother, your son, your nephews and nieces. Use them as stocking stuffers, folks. Brio4life.com. Use code SMOKING. And I got a couple other suggestions for you, folks. Autotempest.com if you're looking for a new car or a used car or a new used car. Autotempest.com searches all the online car sites at once. So you don't have to have 18 tabs going. You don't have to type in the same set of search criteria a dozen times. You go to Autotempest.com, you type that stuff in one time, it searches all the sites, right? Cars.com, Cars Direct, Car Soup, eBay Motors, and then it compares the results to all of Craigslist and Auto Trader. It is great. And Auto Tempest it saves you time. It saves you money, therefore, by saving you time. Because your time is valuable, folks. Don't waste it typing in the same information over and over. Go to Autotempest.com, save yourself some time, save yourself some money, and let the software work for you. Speaking of software, RaceChip takes advantage of the fact that most modern engines are using forced induction these days. And if you have a factory turbo or supercharged engine, by using RaceChip, you can possibly get an increase in power and torque of up to 30% and better fuel economy. That's how good computers are, folks. It's made in Germany, built and tested in Germany on the dyno, the racetrack, and the Autobahn. They're headquartered in Stuttgart and Munich, the home of the German auto industry, and Every RaceChip is easy plug-and-play installation in just 15 minutes. All the engine protection mechanisms are active because it doesn't modify the ECU itself. You can remove it quickly and easily, and after you remove it, the car goes completely back to stock condition, no trace. RaceChip is tested and approved by TÜV in Germany, much more stringent than in America. Several car magazines, TV shows, and content creators. You can get an up to 5-year warranty and a 30-day money-back money-back guarantee. Control the power of your car with the brand new Race Chip app. Hit them up on Instagram at Race Chip Tuning, right? They say chip twice. Race Chip Tuning. And if you want to increase the power of your car in a healthy way, choose Race Chip for quality made in Germany. Go to racechip.us. That's RACECHIP.us. And use code SMOKINGTIRE to get 10% off your order. Limited one per customer. That's code SMOKINGTIRE at racechip.us. All right, folks, in this episode of the podcast, we've got racing driver, television presenter, Instagram pseudo-celebrity, Englishman, and very handsome man, Justin Bell. And oh, by the way, he's the son of a Le Mans legend and is also a Le Mans legend. It's like a double whammy of Le Mans legendism. Justin Bell is in studio on the Smoking Tire podcast.
Do we have an audience? Do we have people? Is anybody there?
There will be.
What's up? It's the Smoking Tire podcast. Fucking second one, 2 days in a row.
Really?
Justin was like, it doesn't mean that the first one was first place and you're second place. It just means that we were here yesterday.
Some poor fuckers tomorrow.
Justin Bell. Yeah, we have a show tomorrow, actually. What's that?
He's very
What's up,
sensitive
man?
about second place.
Vinny Russo also in the house.
Hello.
Justin Bell TV on Instagram. The man is a legend. What's with the face?
No, I was actually
duck face.
do you know what actually happened was the way the microphone was positioned, you suddenly had an afro.
Oh.
So, and the way I'm very visual,
Fuck.
and you just suddenly.
Do you have like portrait mode on your phone?
Yeah,
Can you make that happen?
would actually
again?
be really good.
If there was a way to do it without it coming off as racist, I would love to see how I looked with a nice afro wig.
Yeah.
I'd like that guy LMFAO, like the LMFAO
yeah.
guy. It would be like LMFAT.
I saw him on a flight to Southwest to Vegas.
Oh, really?
He gets on and literally he did have his whole man sack
whole
out
thing?
the front. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he sat there with his two buddies and they were just, like you do on Southwest, and there's some there's a proctologist from Encino sitting on the next seat and, kind of going, what on earth am I sitting next to?
Rock star in the normal world, it doesn't work.
Did he just come out of his man bag and go back into it?
Right
I think
into
he
it.
did, right?
I think so. Something happened to that group that caused them to not exist
Are
anymore.
you
I
actually
forget.
live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are
wow.
actually live.
So formalist. Yeah.
What?
No.
It's there's that guy, LMFAO. Whatever happened to that guy?
Well, he was
Made
he was
money,
funny.
faded away.
Made money,
Yeah.
faded
What
away.
happens if he sits down in the movie theater in front of you? Do you say something or?
I think you do.
You know who I saw on a player
Like,
play?
can
Dee
you pat that
Snider
down?
from Twisted Sister, who was dressed as Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, and that was a very bizarre rock star in the real world.
Is that sadder than someone else actually impersonating? I think it's sadder than someone else trying to look like you
Well,
when you're
Zach.
trying to look like you.
Zach thought somebody on a flight to Canada was a Pamela Anderson impersonator.
Yep.
Is that just because she was?
Except it was Pamela Anderson.
Wow.
Yep.
That was a good sighting.
It was very surprising.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that at all.
Did you hear the story of Dolly Parton lost to the Dolly Parton impersonator?
Just about to say, Dolly Parton was my sighting, but it was real.
Yeah.
And I went up to her, and she was in a standing outside a nail salon, and I just stopped, and kind of walked across and went, I got to say, you're a legend. I love you. You're brilliant. I didn't really mean it. You know what I mean? I never thought about that until I saw her.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and she just looked at me, well, aren't you sweet? And like, basically, if I was a few years young, and I was like, wow, okay, that's enough.
Dude, you're like, wait, you don't have to be younger, Dolly.
No,
we can go
now.
we can do this right now.
Yeah.
Do you know that
it was very
allegedly
exciting.
Dolly Parton has like full sleeve tattoos?
Wow.
And has a lot of ink, and that's part of the reason she wears long sleeves is to. It is a rumor that I think has a
I
lot
didn't
of
need another reason to like her
it.
more than I already did. But
well,
that's
do you
pretty
know,
cool.
who's that real hard ass female news reporter does in-depth journalism? What channel is it? I think it's probably
Like Marie,
the one who really hits hard. Whatever she did.
like
a big
Rachel
interview with-
Maddow.
No, a bit older.
That's
than
what
that.
I was thinking.
And, go back a bit. Anyway,
Barbara Walters?
Barbara Walters,
Okay.
and she goes in and is like saying to Dolly, well, you're fake this and that and the other, and she just goes, well, I mean, who are the fools? I mean, if they're all fooled, who's the fools? Not me. She's like, I have this. I'm totally happy with who I am.
Oh, yeah.
And I love my brand. And it was like end of story. You can't dig into someone like that who's genuinely
Yo,
Brilliant.
like a proper legend. Go listen to some old ass Dolly Parton
60
records. They're
years.
fucking gangster as hell. She was awesome. It is awesome.
60 years she's been doing stuff.
My first roller coaster that I ever went on, because I was scared of roller coasters until
Well,
I was
her breasts.
25, was her breasts. It was at Dollywood, at the Dollywood theme park.
Is that the shape of them?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You get into Power Wheels and you just drive over one.
They fly a bra from the flagpole at Dollywood when she's like around.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the thing they do.
I saw your underwear on top of this building when I walked in, so I knew you were in the house.
It's like a sale.
It's a sale.
There's a. Do you remember the movie with John Candy?
Summer rental. Summer rental.
He flies his pants.
We just had another yard of sale.
He fucking fixes up a boat and races, and he wins the race by flying his pants.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing what our minds retain, isn't it?
The most important information.
I'm full.
You're full already. It's just like lots and chocolate. Actually, I'm having a week off right now. This is
really?
me totally not. I'm doing anything I want to this week.
Really?
Because it's the end. The last race was IMSA race was on Saturday, Petit Le Mans. Big
Congrats
shows
to
for us.
fucking Will Turner, my
I know.
homie.
Yeah.
I mean, and Bill Oberlin.
And- yes.
I mean, Billy. I mean, 60 wins. He's such a legend.
He's
that
a
guy.
beast.
He's a beast. He's won more races for BMW than anyone else in history. He does not know how not to win.
And are you aware that is the second most badass thing Bill Oberlin does?
Other than the fast boats.
The boats.
I know.
He has the psycho death boats that go like 150 miles an hour.
And he does all the props for them. And he's a real engineer, though. I mean, he's super smart about all the suspension and tuning it. I mean, he's like BMW rely on him for their damping, developments and stuff.
BMW's John Heinrich.
He's really got a racing driver face in that. He's got a very Rowdy Burns thing happening there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In that picture.
And he's kind of he's just that original winner. He doesn't. He just wants to win. He doesn't. And all these young guys come in and he just like swats them down. He's a bit like Rocky.
Yeah.
It's like he will keep winning in all the sequels until I guess. Did Rocky die in the? I don't know. He should have died.
I don't know. I didn't watch.
I haven't watched it, but I was hoping he died.
because he's alive in like Creed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Creed.
Rocky's
Coach.
not dead. No, he's got CTE, but he's around.
Yeah, well, Bill was looking good, and the other stuff that was cool about that weekend was, the Risi Ferrari who come in for 2 races a year, and they won their class. It was great.
Wasn't it
weekend,
the swan song for the C7R too, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
But the C8's sitting right there. So
Yeah.
Oh, how good did it? Did you hear it in person?
Oh, it did.
How good
yes.
did it sound?
It was so not a Corvette sound that it was pretty exciting. They had one also on display with a line going around the corner, and it looks pretty good. And I mean, obviously the sad part is we're losing the Ford GT.
Yeah.
The Ford GT program is over, but everyone's sad about it. But they were only ever going
allowed to.
No, they can do what they want, but they only came in for 3 years.
Right.
And Ganassi and I were
But
talking
are any
about,
privateers going to keep racing those
I
cars?
think so. I think they're not exactly you sort of turn on and play machines.
Oh, okay.
They're what was what I was trying to
Turnkey.
say?
Yeah.
Turnkey. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that. I think they take a little bit more
Remember
work
that
than
team was racing the old Ford GT, and it was such a terrible race car. They never did any. They never really
they
won
couldn't-
anything, but it was very pretty. It looked cool.
It goes into a long line of very pretty cars that don't work. But
Look at that C8R.
Look at
Oh,
it.
it's delightful.
I know. And look, I mean, what's so funny is if you had told the Corvette clan that they would be in love with sort of a mid-engine car 10 years ago, they would have just, I mean, you might as well have told them they were getting a Viper.
Yeah.
But now they were like, I just love that. I mean, they should.
it's
I mean, look at
fucking great.
it. It looks the biz.
I drove
Great.
the street car. Were you on vacation today, or did you see that someone broke the embargo and then everyone
I heard
floodgated
that,
the reviews at the same time?
Yeah, it's a
including me.
staycation. It's a staycation.
Yeah.
So where did you drive that?
Thunderhill, and then on the street as well, and it's pretty good. I mean,
bet
it's
it
pretty
is.
good. It makes an amazing first impression.
Yeah.
The first time you drive it, you go, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is a 458 with an LS motor in it."
Yeah.
And then
Settles down.
and then you think about it a little more, and you can pick apart a couple of things here and there. But as the entry point into the mid-engine world, I know they built the fucking Fiero. Fuck the Fiero, okay? As that doesn't count anymore. As the entry
It didn't
point
count
into
when it came out.
Yeah, right.
It does count.
Did you see I sent
Doesn't
you that
count.
submission for the Fiero on 30-inch tires? Someone submitted. Yeah, check your inbox later.
Oh, that seems safe.
But as a first mid-engine car, it's quite good.
Yeah.
If you drive it in isolation, not back to back with a 911 and a Ford GT and the best mid-engine cars that money can buy, then if in isolation it's spectacular. Compared to the world's best, it's not quite there.
Dollar point,
but it's cheap.
It's probably slightly ahead of them.
It's fucking cheap, and it rides. Except for the McLaren 720, it's probably the best riding sports car that money can buy.
Jeez.
Except for the 720.
Wow,
because it's double wishbone with mag ride.
Well, you know what
not to like.
Yeah,
I mean, they certainly know how to do their electromagnetic suspension, don't they? In GM, but they the one thing that we will never get to test is what Pratt and Miller do to a C8. It's what Oreca did to a Viper back when when I was racing them, people were like, God, what piece of shit they were. And I was like, yeah, but not our race car.
Not the race cars.
And what race teams can do. And Pratt and Miller, I don't know if you know a lot about them, but when the U.S. government, the military, were having a problem with a satellite on re-entry, they go to Pratt and Miller to program their guidance system to shoot it down. They have government contracts that we are beyond anything to do in racing. They're the ones that Pratt and Miller, when you look inside the Corvette or the Ford or the BMW, they have a screen on the dashboard that at night it's very hard in multi-class racing to know who's coming up behind you. You've 3 cars, 1 car, and it's a reverse sort of radar that identifies the car, which side, based on an algorithm, it's likely to pass, its closing rate, everything about it, and it predicts pretty accurately which way, obviously including GPS on the track, and also taps into the timing and scoring.
This is some crazy shit.
So it's in the car. So you're driving at Le Mans, because the problem is, imagine you're going down the back straight at Le Mans, going to Indianapolis or something, into the Porsche car is a better example. You see one prototype coming up, and you're so committed in a GT car, you wouldn't know whether it's 2 or 3 prototypes, which would have changed your approach to it, right? They'll tell you how many cars are behind. So now what Pratt and Miller are so confident about what they do, they allowed that technology to be bought by everybody else. So
they just licensed it
They just license it to all the other manufacturers. And
is that a standard now? Standard
in all the GTLM cars, and I think a lot of the prototypes.
I would assume they sell that as a safety feature too.
Yeah, it is. And they're so advanced. So what they do, they flog that old C7. Wait, 2 years over its sell-by date, you know, and they still win races with it. So but Tommy Kendall, my co-host on the talk show,
he's gonna be on the show next week.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Mm-hmm. Beat you, Tommy.
I wanted to separate you so I could get 2 shows instead of 1.
Well, that's so good. So we're just the show. So Tommy, he got to drive. He can tell you all about it, but he drove the Ford GT. They invited 5 journalists. 8 journalists. Wow. You weren't on that list, Matt.
No, I was not.
You have to have like an international B.
The FIA license or something.
And so, of course, there were more Euros than US ones that can do it. And he drove it. He was fastest, obviously. But he said it was so freaking... He's Tommy Kendall. I mean, yeah, he is Tommy Kendall. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway... Bastard. It's so funny. We sit there and we do the intro to the show.
It, actually,
I was hoping he wasn't going to. I gotta say, I was like, sending secret text to Ganassi saying, "Listen, that tall fucker can't get in the car. His legs are
move
mashed."
the seat up a little. Bolt it up a little bit.
It would have been a good idea, but the trouble is that. If you're the seat filler for Tommy Kendall, you've got to be on your game. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing actually, and this is you got a video, but you can see the amount of angle that he can actually move his right legs after. Tommy had a massive crash. I mean, a long time ago, cut his career short at 29.
Yeah. And he has a noticeable limp because of it now when he walks.
One leg's a lot shorter. But what he does, considering he has to use a gas pedal like this, not like this, is mind-numbing.
So he uses a gas pedal with his knees and not his ankle?
He uses a gas pedal, not his ankle.
Fuck.
Yeah, and he won...
He's still the fastest.
And he won 9 Trans Am champions that way. Championships that way.
He won 9 after?
I think it was that. Or was that before?
I don't know. I think it was before.
Was it before?
I think it was before.
He won a lot. He still raced the Viper.
No, he's still done racing afterwards. But that's fucking crazy. I didn't realize that he had to actually do that. I never really gave that much thought. We got to remember to ask him about that.
Yeah, ask him about that.
Not that won't come up.
It's going to be exhausting.
He's the Rick Allen of racing.
Yeah.
No, actually, Alex Zanardi is the Rick Allen of racing.
He at Daytona. it's just if you want to. He was there at Daytona racing for BMW, and we had him booked to come on. It was our first weekend of the tour show, and so he's booked to come on, and he overheard us on the over our speakers going, and on tomorrow's show we're going to have Alex and I, and he whipped around suddenly in his specially designed superhuman wheelchair. He kind of flew through like, hey, I'm here. Like, no, a day early. And we're like, I mean, there are drivers with a tenth of his ability, a hundredth of his success, who are too up their own arse to even turn up sometimes. And there's him who's just ready to go. And for anyone involved, did you see that video on YouTube when he did the driver change?
Oh my God, it was the coolest.
He gets in and out faster.
Was that a JF video? Who made that?
I think it was a guy with BMW guy with an iPhone.
Oh, okay.
And I tell you, but he was going in and out of the car like whew, I mean, I'm not saying like a monkey, but like a monkey, because his arms are so strong. Like,
I think that's an appropriate description. It was crazy.
Yeah,
like hanging from the roll cage real quick. It was awesome.
I know.
So I got a question. So in that situation, you're racing against somebody like Alex, given his, I guess, limited abilities, but not really. I mean, do you? In the heat of the moment, he's just another driver. It doesn't matter. I mean, besides the respect and the fact he's technically handicapped, I mean, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, he just won another gold at the Paralympics. So he'd kick your freaking ass.
Yeah.
The only thing you better hope is if he's pissed at you that he can't get to his wheelchair before you're running, because you do have. That's the only physical advantage you have.
That's why I feel like the first 50 feet.
50 feet,
and then after that.
Oh no, I think he'd come on his knuckles after you. I've never seen anyone so
determined.
nice.
But when you're in a big race, though, do you see the driver inside the car, or you just see a car? You're racing a car, or
you do definitely. Sometimes someone's really great at overtaking. So when they come up behind you, like, shit, they're going to go by. It's just a psychological thing. Other guys, he always takes a while, or, he'll back out if I block him once.
But that's part of the mental game of racing, though.
Like tennis, like anything, they can all hit the ball the same, but within reason. So you do evaluate people like that, and which is the trouble, like the beginning, like Daytona.
Well, that's why the only reason I ask is because you've got like 5 drivers in a car. So you see the car throughout the race, but you don't, or do you actually know who's in it? Do you go back to your team and say who's driving this thing?
You know that often on strategy, the top teams will put their top guys out against your top guys.
Right. Yeah, got it.
Kind of like a relay race. You're matched.
Yeah, and then of course it goes out of sequence, and then you can tell. First of all, you can see you can just tell someone slow is in the car. One of the gentleman drivers or something, and some of them are super fast, obviously. But there's a difference between Bill Oberlin or Richard Westbrook, and
it's body language.
And,
I mean, there's still body language,
and the cars do have that kind of personality as they move around. And if they're waving around on the banking,
angle through that corner kind of thing,
and
right?
if it's wet, you can definitely tell. But I mean, it's funny in single seater racing or Trans Am or any World Challenge, anything where it's mano a mano or mano a womano, it's really much easier because you get to know everyone you race against every weekend. But the uncertain factor of another someone that's just got their license or something. Ours is the only sport. Imagine it. I don't used to like golf. I hate it now, but I used to like golf. Imagine if money could buy you onto the
PGA Tour.
The PGA Tour. So you're there, and they're at whatever Pebble Beach, and you're like, yo, hey, I just sold my pharma company, and I'm here, and it's like the guy will be looking at you, and it's okay, I shoot 90, it's fine, and you go off, kill a couple of people, spectators, and everyone will be like, what the fuck how did that happen? And what it would be, it'd be like, oh no, but we do this in racing, and in racing. I always say to the young kids, they come up and they look at you, and you're always trying, like you are, like we are, trying to get the young generation engaged in what we do. That's a whole conversation. But with racing, everyone wants to be a Lewis Hamilton or a Jeff Gordon or whoever, and they come up, and it happened this weekend. And kid comes up, and his dad, and he says, I'm really good at karting, and I want to be a GT driver. I'm like, that's good. And I looked at the dad and I said, are you rich? And he went, well, no, I'm not. He said, but he's won a few he's won some championships. I said, do you know anyone rich? And I'm like, I said, well, you better be like Raikkonen fast, or Verstappen fast, to overcome the lack of money. Otherwise it's just a shitty
That's got to be so hard, because you don't want to tell your kid, You could be a good GT driver if we could afford.
But even then, even if you are Raikkonen or Verstappen fast, don't you have to be able to find that money if you don't have it? Kind of.
Well, some do. Some, imagine that's where, in the old days, Marlboro, Camel, they did wonders for Mika Hakkinen with Marlboro straight from the beginning, Alan McNeish, and now those are words we can't even say. But they got a lot of people into the sport. But look at Red Bull. If you become a Red Bull athlete, you're in Formula One.
Yeah.
If you make the cut, I just think it's that very very difficult thing in our sport where the payout at the top actually doesn't equal the investment.
True.
What's the old rule? You want to make a small fortune racing?
Yeah.
Spend a large one.
Who came on the show, Zach, not long ago?
Scott Pruitt?
Scott Pruitt came on the show and he was like, look, globally, there's probably like 100 paid drives. Total. Like in the entire
while you're
world.
talking. 100 paid drivers in the entire world. So if you got paid, I'm texting my son, he's at boarding school, Army and Navy Academy, and he's like, why aren't you answering the phone? I'm going to say, well,
because
if you
we're
watch
live. Tune in. Just send it a link.
Now.
Command V. Paste. Paste link.
I maybe.
The dream of being a racing driver is fucking like almost unattainable.
But it is. Who are we to say? Don't become a car journalist.
No.
Don't do this. It's kind of like the passion of it. But with racing, you get to this point where you can get so far, and some of these, and you suddenly get paid, but maybe get paid, and there's, right now, Richard Westbrook, Joey Hand, some of the top drivers in the world in GT racing, because the Ford program's going away, they have no jobs for next year.
Yeah.
Now that wouldn't happen in basketball. Wouldn't happen in baseball. I mean, there's thousands of those people, And once you make it, unless you really fuck it up, you can stay at the top, right?
But, and then you can go play basketball in Europe and still get paid a little bit.
Well, that's what America is to Europeans. If Europeans come over here and like, hey, listen.
Yeah, like if you're valuable, there's always a team for you.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But it is still an amazing sport to be a part of,
and it's also. Having done the little limited bit of bullshit racing that I've done, I can see how addictive it is. Oh. And if you're good at it and you get a win, you beat 50 other drivers and you get a win, you go, well, this is going to be my life now. Yeah. And and it's like, whoop, heroin, and boom, now I'm a fucking race car driver.
We could compare it to a lot of other things in our life, couldn't we? You know what I mean? It's like, it just, once you taste that, you're into it. That's how I started. I've been around racing my whole life. My dad, 5-time Le Mans winner, all that stuff, and
Can I ask what it was like to be a kid, to be Derek Bell's kid? Like, did you travel around, or were you home with your mom?
No, we traveled a lot as kids.
Was it like the WAGs, the wives and girlfriends circuits?
They had the club in England was called the Doghouse.
Yeah.
And that was the famous club which Betty Hill, Graham Hill's wife, started for all the women. I just remember... I just go to races, and I had an interesting conversation with Chloe Mason, who was Nick Mason, the drummer of Pink Floyd's daughter. We kind of hung out a bit as teenagers, and had a huge crush on her, but it wasn't reciprocated. And I remember talking to her. I said, but I thought everybody's dad was a race car driver, for a certain period of time, right?
Yeah.
And she said, and I said, so my races were going to Silverstone, going to Le Mans, going to Spa, going to Nürburgring, and at the same time, she said, yeah, well, I'd sit on the corner of the stage while they're doing sound check at Wembley.
Yeah.
She never went to a fucking pub, and they never played, down at the Dog and Pony, and I never went to I didn't go to Cars and Coffee and I didn't go to any. There was no Cars and Coffee back there. It was there was no club race. There was club racing. I never went to it, so I never knew. And then I was 17 when I went.
You thought racing period was like
I thought this is cool.
It's
Hawaiian Tropic Girls, 956 Porsches, and and amazing racetracks. And I went to I was an art student. I had no intention to be a race car driver. I was racing motocross though, so it was in me a bit. I went to the Formula Ford Festival at Brands Hatch with my buddy James and his dad, and I came back home and said to Dad, I just saw that. It's like I'd suddenly seen, inside the machine and how everyone got there. I said, I want to do that now.
Oh,
and
you saw the little level.
I saw
you
the
saw the local race.
I was like, well, and they were all my age.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
Oh,
and I went and told Dad. And Dad's literal quote was, He said, how the fuck do we tell your mother? And that's all he said. So then he made me work on the farm all summer to get the money to go and do my Jim Russell school. Then I was going up and down the straight like going, this is so dull. And then he had made me make the rest of the money to go and do another test day. And we went to Brands Hatch and boom, I started.
So you didn't start driving till you were 17.
I started 17. I didn't. I drove,
you
I drove cars
fast.
at 8, but real race cars till I was 17 years old.
Wow, that's cool.
But you know what? If you these carts, I swear that these kids are overexposed now. They're all brilliant. They're so brilliant. They're being homeschooled.
Yeah.
So they can go karting for 3 hours a day. They talk about, you're all running down. It's like the start of a motocross race. 50 bikes going for a gate room for 2 at the end.
They should have
a racing
like
career.
a boarding school where you go and do real school for like 4 hours a day, and then you race for 3 hours.
You've
a
seen
day.
the X-Men.
Well,
It's kind of like that.
My
basically.
buddy of mine from high school dipped out like sophomore year to go to Utah, Park City, to go to the U.S. Ski Academy, and he would go to class in the morning, and then everybody would get out at noon, and they would go ski, and that was the thing.
There was a school in Florida that my buddy went to for tennis. Same thing.
Like,
Why transferred him over there?
U.S. Racing Academy.
Yeah, Jeremy Shaw,
you
who
could charge
actually runs
$300,000 a year tuition. For
I'm trying to think about. Tommy and I are going to do like media training or some bullshit. But the trouble is, as someone once pointed out to me about the way I do TV and stuff, they're like, we couldn't really teach that. It's like not good. You don't. It's like it's recipe
Here's what
for
not
disaster.
To do. Yeah, you can teach what not to do.
But the trouble is that so all these kids, they're like little homogenized. I don't mean it's like they're little. It's like that scene in a spy movie when suddenly you see into the lair and there's like 10,000 robots all ready to take on the drone army.
Kids.
Yeah, exactly. It is a drone army of karting kids. They're so advanced in their skill set. So again, there's another young man who races in IMSA a couple of years ago. He's like, so what can I do to get noticed? I'm like, I mean, you're fast, but he's fast and she's fast and they're fast. I said, I'd go home. I would get over the winter, get a Mohican, tattoos of like strippers down your arm, and come back and date Instagram models or something.
Yeah.
Do something to
Hoe
make
it
us
up a little bit.
Make us care, because at the moment
it's marketing.
we just
part
don't
of the
know
deal.
who you are.
Well, that's why we watch.
His mom thanked me for that advice. Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton on Instagram and not
Totally.
Roman Grosjean or whatever. Like, because Lewis Hamilton, I mean, to me anyway, is a much more like dynamic person.
But he had to break out.
Yeah.
He was Ron Dennisified, through McLaren,
Little
like
bit,
a little robot, and to the point that suddenly
and then he became Dennis Rodman-ified.
Nice segue. And then I
Dennis
remember
Rodman, that'd be a funny.
I remember when he was getting shit in the British papers from the team for like 1 minute being in Vegas, between races before the Austin race, being in Vegas with
Justin Bieber,
yeah. And he's like, the day I start winning on fucking Sunday, you can tell me that I should back it out.
Yeah,
and
go
I
fuck
agree with
yourself.
him. Good point.
I have a red private jet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
You ever see
vegan
his
jet now. It's a vegan
fucking
jet now.
Red. I'm sorry.
He's actually veganifying his whole life.
He's saving the planet by burning 10,000 gallons an hour.
Yeah,
instead of flying commercial.
I think he's flying commercial.
Is he flying commercial?
He's sold a jet. He wants to be
Really?
involved.
Good for him.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He turned vegan 2 years ago, and I'm actually a chegan.
Excuse me?
A cheating vegan.
Oh.
So
I
I
thought that
like
was a
a
Chinese
lot
vegan.
of my actually I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
You're chicken eating vegan.
Yeah,
that.
chicken eating vegan. No, I did that. Tommy's veggie too, but I eat seafood, so I'm not a good vegan. But I do enjoy. I'm plant based and all that. Yeah.
Whatever. As long as you're not annoying about it, it's
I'm
fine.
not annoying about it. I mean, I was in and out yesterday without the meat.
What's that Cafe Gratitude in Venice, the vegan place?
Amazing.
I fuck with
Delicious.
Cafe Gratitude. That place is delicious.
They have those buffalo wings that are like with made of cauliflower.
I don't like when they try to fake.
The
You
cauliflower.
shouldn't fake.
Like, just
always the
make me a
cauliflower.
delicious vegetarian dish
Yeah.
that is like not a thing that looks like meat but made of vegetables.
Am I really talking vegetables with Matt Farah?
Fine. Yeah.
What
Talk about food
what do you
we
think
talk
about
food all the time.
anything?
What do you think about the racing drivers have kind of their personalities have narrowed? Where, like you said, they're all the same, and every now and then something happens in a race. Or someone tweets something after a race, or something happens after like an F1 race, and everyone goes, "Ooh, there was a glimpse of a person." And a lot of the media, or, the organizations just go, "Oh, they stepped out of line, and how rude of them." And some people are like, "Finally, a human being." So like, what do you think about that?
Well, isn't it funny? Most series will fine you for obviously smacking the shit out of someone with your helmets off, and yet they'll use the same footage in their promo videos for the series. Yeah. I mean, it's like, don't do that.
Let's get a 30 and a 60 of that.
Exactly. We love that. I mean, you know, when I say the drivers don't have personality, of course, on an individual basis they do, but the pressures to be so good and the sponsors and all that. But if you can just evolve your personality and show it. I'm working with a young lady right now who's she's Alex Hayner's her name. She's doing Porsche stuff, and she really wants to be in racing. And her dad was a World Cup skier, and Anders Hayner, one Daytona and stuff. He's a cool guy. Does a lot of. You'd have met them. He's got a 918, that silver one with orange stripe down it.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's a Swedish guy. Anyway, she's trying to do it, and I said, you just got to stand out. I mean, right now, as a female race car driver, you've got to be fast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what a market if you can get it right now, you know. But the point being...
It's a fine line, though,
yeah,
isn't it?
If you're too outspoken, teams get pretty conservative.
Is that her?
That's her.
She is quite attractive.
She stands out.
Yeah, she stands out. Good for her, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have Christina Nielsen. We have all these great women that are racing right now. Catherine Legg.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's great. I mean, really great women. And there should be more. There should be a lot more women in our sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the car levels a lot of the playing field, right? It's I mean, maybe if we're talking about IndyCar, okay, maybe there's a physicality of the G-forces or whatever, but I think in a GT car or a prototype car...
Well, they have air conditioning and all that. I saw Graham Rahal.
I like how McLaren and some of these companies will sell you a street car with like AC delete. Meanwhile, every fucking race car has front air conditioning, full crank the whole race.
I mean, you know what's so funny is that you see these young guys come into sports cars or IndyCar, especially IndyCar to begin with. Colton
Herta.
Yeah.
So he was sitting with Tommy and I having in the middle of the Petit Le Mans. We're in Marion's hospitality, and he's like so skinny. I mean, he's like skinnier than I am, right? And he's 18, isn't he, or 19? He's redefining IndyCar right now, and he's so freaking fast, beating all the big Penske drivers, anything in like a second, tier team. Brian Herta's son, big future ahead of him, and then you see Graham Rahal, who I remember being, although he was tall, was quite skinny, but now he's built like a brick shithouse.
He's pretty jacked. Graham's big.
And you know what happens in IndyCar? Suddenly your neck starts going like this, and your arms start. They really.
You get that. What is it like? Every 7 years, all your cells like regenerate.
Really?
So when you watch a documentary about like power lifters and stuff, the guys who are like in their 40s and they've been doing it for a while, they get that old man strength. So they don't necessarily look bigger than anybody else, but like
massively
the
strong.
shit that is super hard on the 20-year-olds is 40-year-olds like whatever.
I'm actually so hold on, 7s into 7, 7, 7, 48. So I'm in my 8th set of cells.
Yeah. God. You are now. You're fully racing.
That's why I feel so good. I'm only like 15% of the way through my 8th set of cells.
Have you been vegan for 7 years? So you have full vegan replacement
I haven't
yet?
had a full vegan replacement.
Well, come see us in 3 years. We'll see how you're doing.
Make sure you do the most you can with your next set of cells.
I am. Actually, that's a cellular ambition. That's pretty cool.
What's your favorite track to drive? Of the tracks you've raced at?
Well, you generally like the ones you win on. Just being shallow.
Sentimental value.
Sentimental value. I mean, Le Mans is. I mean, you go to Le Mans and you just in the middle of the night you're driving and it's if it's not pissing with rain, but when it's cool and I describe a lap around Le Mans in the nighttime, especially when you used to have the old fairground. You go around and you go past the fairground. You could smell the candy and you could smell the lights and the big wheel.
Really?
And it was a great.
Every lap, cotton candy in your face.
And then you go down the back.
Give me a cotton candy when I come in.
You go around the back and you go down the back and you can smell the campfires and shit, and then you go down the other part and you could like smell the marijuana, and then this is my imagination at 25 years old, but you could smell everything going around the track. Awesome. And then you come back into the pits and it's so your senses are so heightened. I find that in America, so definitely Le Mans. In America, I mean Laguna Seca, which is Weather's Raceway, Laguna Seca, just brilliant. I mean,
I mean, the elevation is
cool.
Elevation makes racetracks fun.
But Lime Rock can be fun. It depends what car you're in.
That was going to be my next question.
The world's best track can be a right arse to drive if you're in your car's handling badly.
Yeah.
Road Atlanta, where we were the weekend,
which lovely,
which is unbelievable. And they put this Michelin. When you go there next time, Michelin and them, they just built a new building. It looks like you're at Kota.
Oh, really?
Right opposite the pits, and it's.
Oh, did they demolish the old tower?
The old tower.
Oh shit! Really?
By leaning on it, I think. And so now they have this, and it's got a 80-foot high bib on the side. Yeah, there's pictures of it out there. And
Road Atlanta is, if in the right car, just the best.
Yeah.
What's your, give me, other than a rate, give me, what would be your ideal street car at Road Atlanta?
Ideal street car. Well, you want some
track-oriented street car.
Or anything, really.
Do you know what? I tell you, if you were going to do one of I think that little, you were on the same thing, that McLaren 600 LT.
Those are lovely.
That was really lovely. I think that would be my go-to track car right now because it's the right size for everything.
Those things, they're rowdy. They're fun.
They are rowdy. And it just never felt too much of a car, didn't it? You just boom, slide it and do everything.
Really manageable.
Anywhere you have those kind of elevation changes, you want... and especially downhill braking and stuff, you want something that has that platform that you can feel the whole time, and some of these cars, there's that disconnect between their power and it's like a big mouth on a short person, you know what I mean? It's like you're like, hold on, that doesn't match. You make a lot of noise and you're 5'1". And nothing wrong being 5'1", obviously, unless you're
no, but I mean, the horsepower arms race sometimes doesn't.
Suddenly, I mean, that's why sometimes you get asked to drive project cars and things like that, and you get in and you go, they say, how is it, and I'm like, I think you should do brakes as well, or dampers. Should we do something? You know what I mean, Zach? And you go, what the fuck have you just done to your car? And
horsepower is so accessible these days, more than ever, and it's just, you can buy a supercharger and bolt it to any V8 thing you have, and it fits, and it's just okay. And then you're like, what about the rest of it? Like, I'm thinking about it.
I was just down in Texas, and they're very nice people down there, but they got a lot of space, and so their thing is the highway roll racing, and so it's just how much power can you shove under the hood for a 60 to 160 pull.
And isn't that sort of that, but that is by definition the American car heritage. And I get it, drag racing. I mean, what was happening down the street here, and Van Nuys Boulevard,
right
30
here.
years ago.
No, right here. They called this Thunder Alley on Jefferson because you had Shelby here, you had Edelbrock here, and you had Iskenderian Cams right here, and they were all on this street and right in front of us here.
So no wonder they just flew up and down. And, but it's still gratifying for us, isn't it? When we get loaned a car and you go and you're in LA, you're like, I just got to get outside LA.
Did you see that little thing I've got outside? Oh no, you got here first. I have the Boxster Spider, the new one with the 4-liter. It's fucking great.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I still like you. I like really? your who does your rally car? The little boy.
Lee Keen.
Lee Keen.
Yeah, Safari car. Yeah.
I have. I think
you should get one.
I like that car.
Yeah.
Especially when you said you don't really care about road surfaces. You don't care. No. You just do what you want.
It's not precious. It's really nice because it's pretty, but I don't treat it precious at all.
It's a very weird feeling to be in a 911 cocoon and then but without a care in the world as far as LA streets, because you're kind of trained to be in that vision, and you're like, and then you just don't.
You got this sort of really cool Baja truck thing where if you just like smash the throttle in front of a speed bump, it sort of lifts the nose and just the quick skip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
Have you ever done any off-road?
Yeah,
like
some.
Stuff?
Yeah, I did the wide open Baja customer racing program thing back in the day, and it was super fun. And the buggies were great, and the people were super nice, and it was rad. And I do recommend doing it. It's
Michelin with BFG have they do their runs down there, and
the pre-runs, right?
The pre-run. I'd like to go and do that. They've kind of.
You're not doing the off road?
Well, I've done. No.
You should. It's so
I just
fun.
Like dabble, tested and just touched a little enough. And when obviously I did Shut Up and Drive with Reese, with Reese Millen, and he was always talking about it and what he does and all those guys. I mean, And then you see Paul Tracy's, I always see his videos and things. I mean, those guys are pretty insane.
Robbie Gordon is
Robbie's the king, right?
lunatic. Yeah,
I mean,
but it's incredibly fun. I've just the little tiny bit that I've done is like super fun. And you know what looks great is those stadium super trucks.
Oh yeah.
When we watched
that's the Robbie Gordon series.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Of course he would do that.
Yeah.
He's like, what we're gonna have are these giant jumps and then no landings. You just flat land that and then
so good.
I mean, it must be so good for your spine.
Oh yeah.
your
You must cringe
backside.
just watching that.
But did you watch it last year at Long Beach Grand Prix?
But the first time they went there, which was 3 years ago, I was just like coming down off the pedestrian bridge, and I'm like minding my own shit, just looking for an IMSA car into the IMSA paddock, and suddenly I look up and I hear this noise. And I had no clue they were there, and I'm looking at the underside of a freaking truck as he goes by, and then you can't stop watching. You can't stop watching.
Once you see the first jump, you go,
yeah.
You guys, what the fuck was that? It's
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
And they land all cockeyed and like sideways, and
I mean,
somehow
once in a
work it
while
out.
they work. Once in a while there they are at Long Beach. Look at that, jeez.
That was the shit. That's the best racing series ever created.
It is, and they allow contact. Like you watch the onboards, and it's not like egregious, but they're tapping and trying to get on the brakes, and there's gentlemen drivers and pros.
I think kind of midair, sometimes someone's a little more enthusiastic.
Very true.
Going into the jump. I mean, if Robbie's coming by you, I'm sure you're like. I mean, Ari Jr. He does, Mr. Bachelor. He does
Ari
it now.
Lyondike Jr.
Ari Lyondike
Yeah.
Jr. He's found a home there, and they do that. And that doesn't look too good, does it?
It seems. Oh, this is the testing.
Is this
in the
then
parking lot.
testing? There they are.
testing today.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
look
well,
at it.
that
No
looks
problem.
fun.
Yeah,
looks amazing. Best. I would love to. You can buy seats in these things, man.
Yeah.
You can do a ride and drive.
Do you
Yeah.
know what the series that, I think it was, I don't know, management, or I don't know if it was badly managed or it was just ahead of its time, but Global Rally Cross, when that was around, I thought, that's the way to go.
It looks so
you're
fun.
on asphalt and you're on dirt and you jump, and
Did that continue in America at all, or is it just
I
fully
think they're
gone?
trying a rivals. They're trying someone's. How can you not? It made sense.
It was a great
like a
spectator
15-minute
sport.
race.
Yeah.
I went down to Long Beach with my son and my daughter, and they love racing, but they were. I finished really 2013 was my last big race at Petit Le Mans, and so they've never really seen me as teenagers doing stuff, and we went down there, and like after the first 30 seconds, Oliver's like, well, why aren't you racing this? And then I'm like, actually, why aren't I racing this? I heard Tanner Faust was getting like millions of dollars. I'm like, okay, well, that's Tanner. But
Is he?
I mean, he was at the time. getting big money, yeah.
Good for Tanner.
Yeah, well,
That's when he got
good
the
at doing
plane,
that.
huh?
He's a big draw.
Tanner's good at all that.
Yeah.
He can fucking drive,
He
man.
can drive.
And he is so calm about it. He is just not like, at least outwardly, I don't know what's going on inside, but outside, it's like,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
man,
cucumber.
what
Well,
I'm
as
going
you
to
got
do right
better and
now
better.
is sail a truck 400 yards through a hole in a concrete wall backwards, and I have to do it at exactly 66.2 miles an hour. But the speedometer on my truck doesn't work. But like, it's cool. Like, we're good.
And they
figure
do
it out.
it. They do it like 12 times in a row. Reese was the same. We did it there. There's actually a shot out there
amazing
when
too, yeah.
we did Shut Up and Drive, and we had the RCFs and Lexus RCFs, which. We had Tommy and I had the track edition the other day for our show, which was really fun. We took it to
Did you
Willow,
like
and
it?
do you know what? Compared to what we used to do with an RCF and struggle, with the
Yeah.
diff and everything, a couple of 100 pounds lighter. I got to say. Again, what are you going to compare it to? Don't compare it to.
I compared it to all the cars that
I
were
know you do.
performance cars. It
But
didn't
I
do well.
actually, in its silo, we had a fun time in it.
In isolation, it's probably fine. But it was like $97,000. It was so expensive.
I never look at that part.
You should look at the window
should've
sticker. You went, ah!
Yeah, we had, and anyway, it was fun. But we were up at, that long right hander on the Angeles Crest, the long
European
like
car
carousel,
corner.
yeah,
with
all
the big turnout.
We had the big turnout on the inside.
Yeah, we call that European car corner because every single magazine cover is shot
Does it
there.
there?
You could
Well-
also call it Drew Phillips's home away from home.
Okay, that's funny. We were shooting Shut Up and Drive, and Robert Dalrymple, our producer, he's like, so
love Rob.
little Robert, he's like, Mr. Magoo, and we're standing out there, and he said, well, we're going to do a shot, and just let's get a shot of Reese coming by. So I said to Reese, I'll just stand here, right? And he just goes, well, you stand where you want. And now if a race car driver, a normal race car driver, was going to go through a shot sideways, as you know. In my world as a race, you'd kick it out just before you need to and kind of go through the corner, and don't ask me, it'll be different every time.
Yeah.
We don't drift. I'm not a drifter or stunt guy. He was out of sight around the corner. And I can hear it go sideways.
You entered.
He entered the fucking carousel sideways in his RCF, which on its own was a job to do. He had to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
No handbrake. And he came in, and he just come in towards us. I'm watching him adjust, and I just stand there literally where I am, and he comes 2 feet away, and I trusted him, and he goes by, and he carries on all the way around the corner. And I just turned to the camera and said something stupid like, and that's why he does that, but whatever. But inside,
but it was true.
Impressive.
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
That's.
We were filming with Harris last year at he had like a 911 Touring up at Thunder Hill, and we needed a drift shot. And so because he's very, very, very good at sliding cars.
Harris.
And Chris Harris.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing. He enters real early, and it's just smoke, like third gear. And then he does the thing where he pulls up and he goes, I think that'll work pretty good. We could probably move on. And you're like, you smug fuck. And then he's like, can I see the footage? And he watches it, he goes, pretty good. So his eyes are bouncing up and down.
I'm going to go to the loo.
Yeah.
That was...
Pat myself on the back.
But, I did... Vaughan Gitton Jr. When Nicola and I had the World's Fastest Car Show, we went up there, and Ford had said, "Can you do something with him?" And so in his car, in his race car,
his drift
900 horse
yeah.
or whatever. It wasn't as much that, as he said. You don't need that much, but getting the balance right and just pulling the lever and everything. They're set up to do it.
Yeah.
So I was a lot more impressive than
But how much fun did you have? Wasn't it the best?
More than anything.
Formula drift cars are hands down the most fun thing you can fucking play with.
But when they're tandeming
amazing.
and doing all that, that's
the skill, absolutely. But given a big skid pad and a Formula D car is anything better.
You asked what you just said. The most fun I ever had in a car. Have you done that ice driving thing yet?
No, I'd love to. The below zero school or an actual race?
I've done two. I went to Arjeplog up in Sweden and did a Mercedes one, and then a year and a half ago, I did a Lamborghini Super Trofeo one up in Canada.
I remember that.
Yeah, you just go. It's like, they'll say, well, there's a gate, like with some flags about 300 feet wide somewhere over there, and you just get into a slide and go for half a mile. And you just go and go and go.
Love it.
And then you're like looking around and going, I wish I could put the fuck out of this, because I look really good. And you do it. But what was incredible was we had, not the Huracan. We did have our Huracans.
Gallardo?
The Gallardo. They had Huracans, Gallardo, and the
Aventador,
the big Aventador. Yeah, and the Aventador. And that diff, that all-wheel drive system on that, you would... Corey Lewis, one of the races, he won Sebring for and Daytona with Lamborghini. He was one of their guys, and they'd been up there practicing for 3 days, and they got really good on it. And you could go in with this system. It was totally counterintuitive. It would start to slide, and then it would start going backwards, and you'd actually...
Like a reverse entry slide?
You'd actually turn away from the slide, not into the slide. Oh, because if you turn inside, you turn away from the slide, it would start going around like this. You'd then start to give no gas. You start to give it gas. You're actually going backwards now towards the hairpin. Imagine you're going into a hairpin. Now you're backwards. And then as you put gas on, it would transfer, 90% back to the front. So the front would grab. Then you'd turn the wheel. Then you'd connect, and then you'd floor it. And you go back to all-wheel drive, and off you go. And you go, I am a god. and then you'd do it, but if you didn't commit, it would just go all four wheels, slide straight off into the because if you let physics do its stuff, screwed, and off you went. Most fun, Matt. Honestly, if you do that,
the one I want to do is Richard Tuttle. You must know him. The Porsche guy. Yeah, he's got an air-cooled school somewhere that I want. I think it's called Below Zero.
Well, thanks to this podcast, you will now be on it because I brought it up, so I'm coming with you.
Let's go, dude.
Do you know how much fun it is? And then they had Huskies, and you're drinking every night. And you have
Below Zero, Below Zero Porsche ice driving school.
How much?
These are all Todd-Hell prepped, studded, tired, air-cooled 911s on ice.
Unreal.
That looks the jam.
Well, you know who asked Tommy about it because they organized the AMG Academy winter one and they did it in Aspen.
Oh, that's pimping.
That's pimping.
Yeah.
You know, that's anything you want, lots of horsepower and good hospitality, and it's just the most fun.
Oh, cool! Look at the ice track. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's the kind of thing I've said to all the wealthy car guys that that are looking for the next fix.
Yeah,
and you're like, you have to go and do that.
That looks super fun.
It's the one in northern Sweden. You are at the Arctic Circle. I mean, there's Johnny Lee.
Do you get to like stay in an igloo? And shit
no, they have igloos, but they had an igloo house in town. Shows homeless forever. We're in this town, near this town, and Johnny Liebman and I were doing a thing with Motor Trend. We were driving up in a big G-Wagon all the way up there from Copenhagen up to Arjeplog. And we stop in this town. They have an ice sculpture house in the middle of town, and they're so proud of it, other than it smelled of piss, because it was just where everyone relieved themselves locally.
Wow.
So it was just like disgusting.
Trying to melt it.
They're trying to melt it one pea at a time. But if you going far enough north, it was like Game of Thrones, like beyond the wall.
Yeah.
So freaking cold. But then John and I get there, and the researcher at Motor Trend hadn't quite done their job. Because I guess nor had we. We're there and we're like, and here we are. We're at the Arctic Circle, and Johnny pulls out his phone and he goes, actually we're not. It's like 36 miles. So we got in the car, and when we get there, there's a fucking gift shop. And it's just a road, It's not like you don't expect to see Santa Claus, and that's Lapland, but you expect to see stuff.
Yeah,
it's just a white road going into nowhere. But yeah.
I've always wanted to do the thing where you stay in the glass igloos with my wife, the Northern Lights igloos. Maybe I could combine that with
I've been to Iceland and Sweden. I've been to all those places. So it's 5 trips now. I've never seen a Northern Light.
Really?
Yeah, it's just
wow.
It was so disappointing. But I do have a word of advice for you, which I didn't learn actually in one of those cold places. I learned it at that place in Vegas when I was doing Barrett Jackson, and they had a bar.
The ice bar?
The ice bar.
I love the
and
ice
so
bar.
I was shooting
Borrow
some
a jacket.
I was shooting some really funny piece with the girls that worked there, and we're doing this, and I've got the big thing on, coat on and all this. And I said, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen in here? She said, well, we had a bachelor party, and the groom thought it was so funny, and he took off his pants and sat down.
Oh,
stuck to the ice.
His balls stuck to the ice.
Really?
And so now they're having to bring so they were like warm water and tequila and everything. I mean, talk about that.
Pour some tequila on it.
That was, I mean, honestly, that's going to help every time.
Who was the first person you think to suggest peeing on it?
I know.
His friends. His friends immediately.
All 15 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Probably,
The best man.
They're like, this smells like Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I've told the story a million times, but I embarrassed myself quite heavily in one of those bars.
I'm taking a photograph of while you do that. Yeah.
Do you know Coco, Ice-T's wife?
Yeah, not
personally, but you know who she is.
Yeah.
In trying to impress her, we were all in one of those ice bars, and you'd take the shot from the ice glass, and then you'd huck it against the wall. And I tried to impress her by smashing the glass on my forehead, and I really cut my forehead badly, and I felt the trickle of warm blood come down the face. And she was so nice about it. She was like, oh sweetie, like, oh no, let's get you cleaned up. And I was like, I fucking hate, just kill me. Just kill me now.
You don't want to hurt. You don't want Aid to do anything like that. There you are. Look, mate.
I just got a notification the other day though. I screenshotted it. I was very excited. Ice-T followed me on Twitter.
Really?
There you go.
I'm very excited.
Well,
I don't know why. Because I'm a big Law and Order fan, dude. I met him twice on Bull Run when we were doing it. Like, we hung out for a minute, and it absolutely lived up to what you would hope hanging out with Ice-T.
Yeah, he's amazing. I got to do Cannonball with him a couple years ago.
Stories, man.
And we did. We got up at the Badlands in the morning, and he was outside of his tent. We were glamping in the Badlands, and watched the sun come up. And was like, yeah, he's a great guy. He really is.
He has so many stories. He was in I want to say Marines or maybe like infantry. Like he was a military guy.
Yeah.
And
how many lives has he led?
I mean,
real musician,
real gangster,
influencer, real gangster,
real actor.
And when I went for my Soho House orientation, whatever, 10 years ago, that
really?
year,
Your
and he's
Soho
sitting next to me
House
on
orientation?
but that was like when they first started the month it opened here, and I was like, I just need to allow. I need somewhere to go, and so I joined, and he was sitting. It was him and I at the same time. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And he's like, so he was asking lots of questions that you might if you're like a celebrity. And like, so when I park, like no media can come in, right? Underneath, you know, you know what it's like there.
Yeah.
And they're like, no one can. And I'm going, yeah, no, that's important.
Yeah.
And he said, what about the apartment opposite? Does anyone ever? And I mean, yeah, what about that apartment opposite? And they're like, well, I think those are Elton John's apartments. Those the 2 top floors. So anything he asked, like as a real celebrity would be, I was like,
awesome.
I was like,
it's all
yeah,
about
I agree.
The privacy
Like,
stuff.
yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about that place. You can.
You're just like, I'm Jeremy Irons. Nice
I went
to
to
meet
that
you.
Soho House once to have dinner with somebody, and it was very nice.
It's just
if
very
I
nice.
was single, I would definitely be a member.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
As a married guy, no thanks.
It's a bit of a waste of money for
funny.
you. For
The Malibu one is supposedly the shit.
yeah, I
That's
had
the
lunch
one.
there the other day.
That's the
actually.
one.
That's the one.
We
It's-
really sound very high society now.
I know. Well, so tell me, who was the biggest ass to you as a celebrity?
Oh,
Because
easy.
everyone was, who's yours?
I have two. Two are very easy. One is Rick Yuan, who you would know as Johnny Tran from the Fast and the Furious.
Oh, wow,
nice.
Who
really?
negged me for a photograph at a Galpin party for the Aston Zagato. Remember you
Wow,
were there?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
He negged me for a photo at that party. Sorry, bro. No photos today. And Christopher Nolan, ironically, Law and Order SVU. I'm a huge, not Christopher Nolan. I'm sorry, Christopher Maloney. Christopher Maloney. Elliot Stabler from Law and Order.
Wow.
I saw him at LAX, and I'm a huge Law and Order fan. And I just said, "Oh, hey, Chris Maloney. I'm a huge fan." And that was it. All he had to say was, "Thank you very much. Have a good day." And but he went, "Good for you." Like in that real Goomba, New York, like
Yeah.
I was like, "What the that?" Like that wasn't like what? All I said was hi, and I'm a fan. Like
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ! You know who I saw yesterday that I was nice to? I was super cracked out when I landed because I hadn't fucking slept, and I fucking went head at Bob Saget at LAX. I was
Nice.
so
Really?
happy to see him, and I said, "Bob Saget, love you, man." And he just said, "Thanks, man." And we just didn't even stop. But it was perfect interaction.
all you
keep
needed.
It,
It's
keep
all
it
you
moving.
needed.
Keep
Yep.
it
Do
moving.
you know what's funny about this show? I just realized as you said fuck it 17 times in 8 seconds was the fact that my daughter asked me in the car, is fuck my favorite? She's 12. Pick her up from school. She said, Dad, is fuck your favorite word? And I went, your favorite word? I said, it is my favorite swear word. She said, what did she say hers was? She said, mine is poop. And I said, for now, keep it that
Perfect.
way.
Yes.
You
Perfect.
shouldn't. So she's listening right
I'll
now.
allow
So
it.
Tallulah,
Is she
as you can
no.
tell. No,
Did
she
you send
doesn't
the
listen.
link?
She lives with me. What chances she got? And Oliver's even worse at 15. No, my worst one. Generally I meet them in the car world and the racing world when they come into your turf. When I did that whole Jay Leno electric car thing, I remember the green car thing when he had the Jay Leno show. I was training. I mean, I drove with so many of them, from The Rock to Venus, Serena Williams to I mean, so many. They were genuinely really, really cool.
Because you're the expert.
I
and
was
they don't-
the expert.
they don't
It's
know
a
what
different
they're doing.
position.
And any one of your race driving friends will tell you that when you get them in your world, it's a very big equalizer. You gotta kind of check your ego a bit. You can't say just because I play a superhero it means he doesn't really drive like one. And mine was when Patrick Dempsey went last year, my last year of doing the pit lane. Not Patrick's great. Patrick's great. Patrick's great.
I was like, where's he going with this?
No,
No,
Patrick is
No.
fantastic. But they were shooting.
He's the sweetest man
They
in the
were
world.
so super nice. But they were shooting Racing in the Rain, or they were doing the
our
pre
Racing in the
thing.
Rain.
So it's at Sebring, and Milo, the guy Milo, came along, and it was funny. Again, that snapshot, bad moment, bad day, I don't know. But I had to interview him. And he was like, and we were in a pit lane. I'm in a fucking race suit. You're in a race suit. I've been introduced. You're here.
Were you stunt driving?
No. It was in the middle of the Sebring 12 hours. We're live on Fox Sports, doing the main broadcast. Patrick's like, please, you got to interview Milo. And Patrick's like, JB, and we do all this stuff. Say hi. Milo goes, yeah, well, yeah, man. I mean, cars, it's all right. And I was like, so you must be exciting to be here with all the real drivers. It's just a movie kind of thing. And I'm going, I walk away, I said to Patrick, I said, you need to give him a fucking lesson on how
media
to
training.
a little media training. This
Holy
is
shit.
he's in our world now. We live in Hollywood, but you can leave that bullshit behind. Then I heard, he just was overwhelmed by everything, and I'm going.
Well, that's unfortunate. Jeff Swartz said he was sweet.
Yeah.
Jeff worked on that movie, and he said he was a really nice guy. And
totally,
he was
it's
cool.
just at a racetrack.
Yeah.
It's just weird, isn't it? When you actually have a job, and you're obviously wearing a TV race suit with a microphone, with a camera, with a
You're obviously
satellite.
official.
You're obviously. I'm not. You know, it's not. You know, I don't have it. I'm not on Grindr trying to put a new fucking post up or something. I don't know.
You're not bugging him at a restaurant like, hey, I really, and just like, this is the place.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure he's very, very sweet. And did
That's
you see
unfortunate.
the movie? Did you
I
see
haven't yet
I
because
haven't yet.
I don't want to see it in theaters. My wife was like, "We're gonna fucking cry.
We're gonna cry.
Can't watch a fucking animal die in a
no,
movie." No, so we're gonna watch it at home.
Yeah, and
I almost cried reading the book.
Yeah.
I cried reading
Yeah.
the book, and I do. It's so funny. Anytime we watch anything, I mean, like anything remotely with a moment in it, my kids will just spin around, and my girlfriend Shannon will turn around and look at me. Is Dad crying again? Because it's like the most. I mean, all the things I've done in my life, and then if there's any human moment that touches me, ever since I had kids, it just totally.
I've been doing
me up.
more crying than I'm comfortable with the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's just why are you crying?
I had a friend pass away.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, there was
sorry.
there was Jesse, then
Yeah.
there was my friend
Oh,
Carl, and
jeez.
now we, my cat who I've had for 14 years is like he's okay, but he has what is the beginning of like a terminal illness, and so it's like, oh God, how much of this can I fucking take?
No, I know. The life does make you more emotional as we get older. I think.
Yeah,
you know, it happens.
but it be what it be. Can we punch in on that, Zach? We're gonna take a few questions. I have a
story about your dad at some point I want to tell too.
Oh, well, do that now.
You sure?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I the first time I ever met your father was I did an event. I used to work for Spiker.
Oh,
If you remember that car. And I got
one the other day.
I got to do an event in Pocono, and it was the first time I ever got to drive in Pocono. I was with JP, and we were the factory drivers. So I'm there. This event was a huge event with all the major manufacturers. So your dad was there driving for Bentley, Valentino was there driving for Lambo. There was another guy, I can't remember his name, driving for Lotus. I mean, all these heavy hitters. And when we get there, we're all checked in, and they slap like the expert bracelet on me. So I'm driving customers in the same class as like what your dad is, and I'm freaking out. I've never been on Pocono before. I'm like, Valentino's there, Derek Bell's there. I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm freaking out to JP, and I'm like, I was like, I shouldn't be in this class. It's like, I'm not comfortable with it. And JP's like, he's like, just stay on my line. He's like, you're a good enough driver. And I didn't know that your dad was behind me, and he overheard me like completely freaking out, and he like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, just follow our line. He goes, but this isn't a race. He goes, everything will be fine. He goes, you'll be totally okay. And then just like walked away. And it like, I was like, because I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna look like a complete idiot in front of all of these guys. Like I was nervous, and he just was like, he's like, you'll be fine. He goes, you're totally okay. And then just kind of walked away, and it all worked out great. But it just put me at ease. Like he could tell I was nervous. And
No, he's good. He's
at
good
ease.
like that. He's probably one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. So you know. Matt, we got a question. Oh.
We got a few questions. I'm gonna try and I'm going to filter out all of the because your time is valuable. All of the generic car advice ones. But Nathan says he wants to go on adventure drives Pacific Northwest next summer. My friend Rob, you know Rob Ferretti.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing adventure drives Pacific Northwest, Seattle up in through Canada,
Sweet.
Banff, all that. I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's the best.
So Nathan wants to know is renting better, and what kind of car would be best for the task? I mean, honestly, something reasonably fast and comfortable. Comfortable.
The trick with renting is because you're going to have to cross into Canada, you may not be able to.
Yeah. I mean,
That's true.
Figure that out.
So that's a logistics thing he may want to factor into.
If you
that,
can bring
but
your own car, you should.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the fun. But if not, I like renting from Sixt for this sort of thing because you can rent a specific car.
Yeah.
It's not like there's no or similar.
Yeah.
Which is good, and they have some fast stuff. But like
something fast and comfortable.
I did the Europe one in an Audi S7, and it was like perfect.
Yeah.
Which I mean, there's people who do it in like Lambos and shit, but like I don't want to drive 1,500 miles in a Huracan. Like that's not my idea of 911. I mean, nothing wrong with a good 911. Kevin wants to know the story behind my Aston. My Aston is a 2003 Vanquish. It was built new for Ralph Lauren, as Kevin says. Yes, it was his car. It's got the purple label special leather, which he sent the swatches to the factory. And I got it in 03 in 05 when he got the Vanquish S, and we got it for very, very cheap. And my dad never really drove it much. I drive it a lot. In 2015, I decided to send it to England, to Newport Pagnell, to have a manual put in it, which they did. And it's back now. It's got 13,000 miles on it, I think. 14,000 miles, not very many miles. And it was picked up.
Keep talking, ignore me.
It was picked up 2 hours ago from Connecticut and is on a truck out here
heading west.
Heading west, and I'm taking it on Adventure Drives Pacific Northwest.
So there's a good example of a great car to take on.
That is a good GT car, and we will be GTing with it. Have you ever driven a converted Vanquish? They're fucking cool, Justin.
No.
It's a big V12 and a 6-speed and 33 pedals. It's fantastic. Mint Society says, is a C8 Corvette street test coming? Yeah. I don't know if I'll be invited on the press launch. They haven't announced that yet, but if not, there will be press cars in California eventually, and I will get one. Yeah, but it might be a while. I think it might be a while. Kevin wants to know what happened to the C8 embargo. It got blown. What happens with embargoes is, I don't know about any. You never want to be the first. You don't want to break the embargo. But if someone breaks the embargo,
then
the
floodgates are open.
The floodgate is open because you're not going to be the fucking last, the only sucker, right? If it's broken, it's broken by everybody. So somebody broke it. I don't know. It definitely wasn't me because I was on top of a mountain. Someone said they got their Motor Trend notification at 5:30 a.m. Central Time this morning. That's the earliest post I've heard of. But I don't know. Either way.
But I understand the embargo thing because you're there, they're giving you an opportunity, and you got to respect it.
Yeah.
But in today's world, it's so tough for them to
because it was only print magazines got to drive the car. Only Motor Trend and Road and Track and Car and Driver that were actually doing like Lightning Lap, Performance Car of the Year, and Motor Trend Car of the Year. They're the only people who got to drive it in the month of September. No one else got it. And so the embargo was only really for like 4 outlets.
Yeah.
It wasn't a press launch. The press launch hasn't happened.
Yeah.
There were only there's 2 or 3 development cars that are running. Like the car that I drove showed up on a transporter with a crew of 4 people that literally could not leave it out of their sight. They had to take it with them everywhere they went. Jeez. And so
but you got to remember with the embargo from a manufacturer standpoint, because I've been on the other side of that, is that the point of it is so that they can get some time to prepare for when it gets launched. Good, bad, and ugly. So like when it does get broken, they're scrambling. I couldn't imagine.
It got broke by 1 day, not by a month. Yeah, so it's not the end
terrible,
of the world.
No.
But like, I think.
But they probably had social media getting ready to be launched. They had all these things.
But the purpose is like a print magazine takes a long time to make, and a YouTube video or a fucking digital thing takes no time at all. And so there's thousands and thousands of dollars on the line. If you are first by like that, just the noise video I put up, it's like that was my little workaround, right? No driving impressions, fine. Here's me silently driving around a racetrack. It's 400,000 views.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's like $1,500. Like that's not nothing. You know what I mean? And that's so if it's an attempt by the manufacturer to equal out those types of advantages.
I think nowadays it's impressive when an embargo doesn't get broken.
Yeah.
Just
I should have been more
fucking
prepared. I had to come home and race home and upload the video because I wasn't ready. I'm an idiot. Let's see. Blacksley Woody says, what car or truck would you send to add armor for the apocalypse? What car, Justin, would you have armored? What would be your perfect armored vehicle?
Well, with the apocalypse coming, you've got to figure out that anyone that I like is actually inside the car with me.
Yeah,
sure.
So I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be like Mad Max where you find the beautiful woman. You've got to take her with you because I'm not probably a big killer. I don't know. I wouldn't do well. I know you can tell how my mind works. Has nothing to do with your question, but now I'm figuring out how I'm fighting off the guy from Thor who moves into the tent next to me, right? So I'm thinking, okay, so my vehicle's got to be pretty cool right from the outset. I think I'm gonna fucking armor my Range Rover. I'd be there. It would be because inside, while everyone else is battling it outside, I'd just hit my shutters. They'd come down like an armadillo. I'd have open up my refrigerator in the middle, and
it has to be like the Holland and Holland.
It would be Hollander. But can you imagine on the top just these double-barreled shotguns that come out and just blast the shit out of everyone? Holland turret.
See that?
Because it's like 4 barrels.
It'd be very, very elegant, but really mean.
Yeah, I like that.
But as you know, they are the only vehicle in the world that will go literally anywhere. Still, I still believe it.
I would say
no, Sherp. The Sherp. Have you driven a Sherp yet?
No.
You
really?
must.
Really?
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
Can you get just in a picture of it? I went. You have to go to northern Minnesota to drive them in winter, and they are these things, these Russian amphibious things. So,
oh my God, it looks like a toy.
It is the best toy by far. It's the best toy in the world. You can go literally anywhere. Water will not stop you. You can drive into a frozen lake and then out the other side.
Okay,
it's the greatest thing you could ever imagine.
Not often do you see something and you go, that's just would rock my world.
Yes, it would. What do you think that thing costs? That right there, it's about the size of like a... Oh, how do I even... Can you find a picture of like a human standing next to it or something? It's hard to scale them. Like, it's like the size of a minivan.
Yeah.
$600,000.
There you go. There's a human next to one. That's
600,000.
119 grand.
Wow.
Isn't that like almost comically cheap?
That's amazing.
It is. I would armor the fuck out of that thing, and you know what the fuel range is on that? 2,800 miles.
Okay, so while I'm there, surrounded by my Connolly leather, dying because I ran out of fuel,
I'm gone, motherfucker.
You're gone. You're just gone.
I'm gone.
Slowly but surely, you're gone.
I'm gone.
Slowly. You're
I'm driving
slowly
to
but
Alaska
surely.
without roads.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? What we'd do if all that turned upside down. I don't know. I wonder what Woody would do for him.
What did Kamisa say to me to turn me off the 328? He said that the fucking steering and brakes were terrible, and that it drove like a heavy pig, and that other similar Ferraris of the period felt much lighter on their feet, including the 308 GT4 and, surprisingly, the Mondial.
Wow.
Wait, what? Nicholas Holt says the guys at Everyday Driver are doing a GoFundMe to buy a Phaeton and a Quattro Porte for content. I will give them a shout out. They deserve a shout out. Go find the Paul and Todd's GoFundMe and help them buy those terrible, terrible cars. I'm sure it will be very cheap. Andrew says, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Andrew wants a dual overhead cam flat plane crank C8R engine in the Corvette street car, and we agree there.
Yeah, we
agree. Favorite East Coast city for car culture, says Mogator Productions. I want to stay on the East Coast, but fucking Charlotte.
I would go to Charlotte. You're right.
In Miami.
It just depends on what car culture. Miami.
Yeah.
I mean,
Atlanta's pretty good. Atlanta's got great car culture. Pretty good
racing
car
and
culture.
donks. I mean, it's got
they have
everything
good racing in
there.
Atlanta. There's a lot of different tracks.
Yeah. It just depends on what you mean by car culture. I mean, you know, are you looking
do you
for
want
cars
to do
and
car
coffee?
clubs? Do you want to do autocross? Do you want to
Both
go and
cars.
watch it? I mean, if you go to Texas, back to Texas, like we were talking about,
it's
Suburbans.
There's a lot going on
I mean,
there.
it's like the
Straight
number
line.
one. Other than that, you know, but the number one car. The car, they have complete car cultures just around Suburbans. I didn't realize that. You know,
well, everyone's got it, and they have the trucks. The truck customization is just next level. But for the East Coast best car city, it's got to be Charlotte and Atlanta and Miami,
Atlanta
right?
and Miami.
Miami's got to be the best.
Yeah, you wouldn't put yourself through Daytona. Just drive through it.
No. Daytona. Did you hear they reopened Lollipops? Yeah.
Did they? World's worst strip club.
By worst, do you mean best?
What?
I
I've
hope
never
you
been
mean
there.
What?
But I'm lying. It's
the best.
Do you know? It's right in
I saw
Daytona.
your picture on the wall.
Well, that's one of those places where they say you got to, you got to buy 2 drinks and don't touch the strippers, and you say those are both achievable.
Yes.
Without looking, guess how many stars on the Google reviews?
Half.
2.6. So it's just about now.
Well, listen, all you need to know about it is that bottle service of Grey Goose is $80.
Wow.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Well, there's not a lot else
The owner
to do
insults
there.
people that leave negative reviews. This is a good review. I've never seen that before, so props for that.
That's so funny.
Worth it.
Okay. What are What are your views on Mazda? Do you know what's happening at Mazda? Have you looked at?
No. Well, I only know from the racing side of things that obviously they have really stepped up their game with their prototypes. They won races this year. But the big news for the Mazda competition side is John Doonan, who is single-handedly really responsible for Mazda's motorsport programs here in the US, has just announced this morning, IMSA announced that he is the new president of IMSA. Which is a huge thing for him. Couldn't be a nicer guy. I mean, literally, to have someone running. Scott Atherton was an amazing personality, did a lot for the series. He announced his retirement just a couple of weeks ago. They were looking for a successor to go outside the NASCAR family. It's a big deal for NASCAR. And but to have a guy like John Doonan, who literally lives and breathes racing, and he came on our show, on the talk show when they won their first race, and he is blubbing on the sofa next to me. I mean, crying like a baby. Just that emotion. Yeah. You need people like that to run things that involve passion.
Is that bad for Mazda?
Who knows? That's what I'm thinking. Is there any link there? I don't know what's happening. I know they're going to be racing next year.
The new Miata?
No.
You should get one from Mazda if you can.
Really fun?
With the new engine.
Really?
The updated engine.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Okay.
Totally different experience.
Well, that's a good thing to
The
know.
new engine rules.
Wow.
I just rented a CX-5 in Houston and it was lovely.
Oh, Zachary, you want to know about my Leica M?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping some of the... oh, yeah. Justin, tell us about your Leica M.
Well... Now you've asked, Zachary. Zach, this is the Leica M10. I was telling the guys it's the digital one. It uses the same lenses as my film one. Everything I do in life is fast, like, talking fast and driving fast and shooting video and all that. So about 5 years ago, I wanted to get into the photography thing as an extension of my teenage art college days, which didn't go far either. But... I like people. I've actually worked out I'm pretty shit at landscapes. You think you're going to take a good one where your iPhone can do the same job.
No, it can't.
But with people, I find this amazing. I will be posting one of Matt tomorrow.
Oh, great.
The portrait, if it's in focus. But I love the physicality of it. Have you felt how heavy that is?
Yeah.
Look at it.
I like
It's
big, heavy things, though.
Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like a tank. It's a German tank.
It actually feels like a 44 Magnum. Feel how heavy this is.
And the great thing about...
obscenely heavy.
Yeah. The great thing about Leica...
Gold brick.
That's over 5 pounds for sure.
Yeah. The great thing about it is people let you get right up in their face
if you have
with
a Leica,
one of these. You can just go up and there's no zoom on it. You get up close and it's a very intimate camera, low light camera.
It's
and
okay.
I
He
love
can get
it.
close. He's rich.
And I really enjoy it. So it's changed my life, actually, photography. I love it. I do
like the little rope that's on it.
Yeah, it's a Japanese silk, apparently. I don't know. Everything on a Leica costs so much money. It's stupid.
I know.
But it's,
I can appreciate that kind of... look, when you hold something
go to
like that
Leica
in
Racer
your
if you
hand.
want to see my work. Leica Racer is my other
really?
Instagram account.
Oh,
Leica
yeah, let's
Racer.
follow that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You're a very fancy man with that camera.
Do you know what? I'm really not, but I love that.
Bro, you're allowed to buy nice things. I'm not going to judge you.
I mean, why not? Yeah.
I have a few very nice things.
You actually do have a few nice things.
I do. But you know what my absurd heavy thing is that I have like that is I have I hope Brio isn't mad because Brio Beardscape is a wonderful sponsor of the show and I love their product. It's a buzzer. But Hannah, my wife, got me the Oster Model 10, which is if you go to an 80-year-old Italian barber, it's the kind of barber. It's like a fucking Panzer tank buzzer where the whole metal cartridge goes and it just it's like a combine for your face. And it'll be the cockroaches, my parking garage, and this thing after the apocalypse.
Wow.
Like everything else will turn to dust except for
probably not for manscaping.
And you can't carry it anywhere because it weighs as much as that. No.
Oh, that was one of my balls.
Yeah,
there was the other one
anywhere near my balls. No,
that's not.
I use the Brio Beardscape for that. It's much safer.
I don't need anything that heavy.
But it's about as heavy as that. And it's the kind of thing where if you cut 30 people's hair a day for 40 years, you would
still
use.
Gonna, wow.
Yeah. I like something that when you buy this, you go, well, this is going to last.
Well, isn't it
forever.
funny? I know my kids. My daughter loves the photography, and I bought her and my son, they have film cameras so they could kind of get into it, because you have to take your time. Just take your time, and actually it makes you better in your you know, you go on these shoots. The photographers take.
I majored in photography in college.
Did you? So
and I shot fucking large format.
Wow, I
shot on an 8x10.
I love that.
Yeah, you think that's heavy? Yeah, I fucking carried around an 8x10 in a box.
Jeez,
that's huge.
No, I loved it. That's a good thing. Yeah, I love Leicas. Anyway, the answer to that.
There you go. Ryukachu says, you love the C3 Corvette style, but hate actually driving or being in one. True. If you had to work with one, what would you do? I made a video with a company called Detroit Speed. I would do what they did, which is
whatever they tell you to do it.
Which is like crazy chassis reinforcement, seam welding, entire subframe replacement and chassis replacement, and like LS motor, close ratio, 4-speed, 315s at all 4 corners. It was crazy. Yeah. You know Detroit Speed? Mm-hmm. They are. I
think I watched your video actually.
They are professionals. The one I drove was like American flag. Yeah. It was highly America. That's what you would do. First 3 7-figure cars. Gabriel wants to know if you had all the money in the world. Top 3 7-figure supercars.
McLaren F1 1995. Boom. By the Harrods McLaren there. I'd buy a 300 SL because that would be it. And number 3, over $1 million. I mean, things like Paganis and stuff just don't hold me. It just doesn't. They should.
I understand.
They should, but
economies of scale, though.
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah.
I put F50 on that list.
F50.
Yeah, F50 would be up there too. I mean, I
would go McLaren F1, F40. 300 SL going. Those would be my 3.
The F40, that's F40 has to be right up there.
Have you seen the guy here? And I've seen him at multiple Malibu Cars and Coffees with the very tired-looking red 300 SL going that he says he's dailying.
Wow,
it's fucking cool,
what a
man.
Baller if you do.
It looks tired as shit, and this dude treated it.
Is it a gray or greeny color?
No, it's red.
Red. Okay.
Red. Faded.
I thought
faded
ass red.
The one we saw it at Paradise. Yeah.
He was like, it was used to be white, and he's like, I want to restore, but everybody's telling me not to, and so he just keeps driving it, and it's just a cool patinaed old 300 SL, like unrestored, just drove into the ground, just badass.
Martin wants to know, has the C8 moved the game forward, meaning more mid-tier brands might build mid-engine cars?
We talked about that last podcast that I was on.
Yeah.
Exactly that, yeah.
I mean, what do you... What was your decision on the last podcast then? What did you come up with?
So the argument that I was making was that to a lot of enthusiasts, that the Corvette is supposed to be front engine, rear wheel drive, and that's how it should be. And then more that we discussed, I think Zach brought it up. It's like the Corvette to GM is a halo car. It doesn't matter where the engine is.
Yeah.
So the question I brought up is the C8 being mid-engine, is that going to introduce more customers to mid-engine cars that wouldn't normally have been there, or is that going to force manufacturers, and like Matt said, is going to likely force more manufacturers to have to start making mid-engine cars to kind of match, because that's just where things are going. I was curious to see, 4 years from now, what the scope of things are going to be. And then are we going to be able to attribute that directly to GM taking the leap and saying, we're going to take our Corvette and make it mid-engine? How many other manufacturers are going to have to do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Corvette, going mid-engine has really advanced it, but it's advanced it to where all its competitors already were.
Yeah, I mean, don't you remember?
It's more caught up than anything else.
Oh, okay. This is a good question.
But it's caught up at a price point that's different than everything else.
Yeah, totally different than anyone else.
True.
It looks dated now, but I remember the moment I saw the 360. It was the first... It changed. I mean, if you think every freaking car since then has been basically that mid-engine Ferrari shape. Ever since, I mean, that was it.
Jelly bean.
Right? Yeah. Boom. I mean, everyone. The Corvette, it's like, because there's only so much you can do when you put in the engine there. Sure. Everything kind of has to go around it. But I remember when I saw that, the Ferrari 360, I remember going, that is the most beautiful thing I've seen.
I think they still look lovely.
They still look good. Because it's still the original shape. So what you're saying about the direction everyone goes in, if it fits in with their the
more computers that go in, the more it's all going to start to look the same. Yeah. When I talked to John Hennessy about that Venom F5 thing, which sort of looks like a LaFerrari here and a Pagani here and a this here and a Ford GT here, he's like, man, to be honest, we just put in our target numbers into a computer and it
goes
spit this out, this exact thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, a computer has decided that this is the optimum shape for, maximum performance. And obviously, everyone's computers have come to a pretty similar kind of conclusion. I'm glad that thing isn't heinous looking.
Yeah.
It could have been heinous, but it's
really
not.
It could have been the Aero SSC.
Yeah. Let's blast through a couple of these more before we let Justin get out of here because he's got a family waiting for him.
Yep.
Miguel, thoughts on movement watches? Those are fashion watches. They don't really have a collectability or anything like that. If you like how they look, you buy them, they work, they tell time, but they are pretty basic entry-level fashion watches. If you wanted something that was more watch creddy, I would look up something called the Timex GMT, which is actually pretty cool. Patrick's a favorite thing about the C8 and one thing you'd like to see changed. Favorite thing was the ride quality. One thing I'd like to see changed, I hope I see changed, is the feel of the gearbox at medium pace driving, like medium back roads driving. It was great when you were going full bore on the track, but when you were doing medium pace driving, it was bucking a little bit more than I liked on the downshifts. And they said that the gearbox was not in a final state of tune, so please don't put too much weight behind that, but I do hope they sort it out, and they said they knew about it. Okay,
cool.
Vincent wants to know, hello to my Le Mans hero, Justin Bell. That was a
sounds
hair
so
of an
good coming
Ella
from your
with
mouth,
the
then.
McLaren F1. Did you race the F1 in Le Mans?
Fuck me.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. I thought that's why I was here.
I'm joking.
I'm sorry. Did you?
We don't know much about the racing over there.
I'm bad at looking at people's racing records.
The original Unicorn. Yeah. We led Le Mans for 16 hours on Father's Day in the Harrods McLaren. My dad, me, and Andy Wallace, and we had a clutch release bearing go, and we finished third overall.
Oh, wow.
On the podium in the McLaren, which is why to the McLaren guys.
Did you have to finish? If you had a clutch, did you have to finish the whole race in fifth gear or something like that?
Yeah, well, remember, not sequential gearbox.
Yeah, it was a H-pattern gearbox, right?
Gearbox. So we just had to, fourth wind and then second wind, and we started. But meanwhile, we could have really won that race. Which would have been even better.
You've driven the race car and the street car.
Yes.
So
our car was owned by the Fayeds. The Harrods. Yeah. Actually, it was Moody, who was his brother. They obviously like pals. Yeah.
I heard they're interesting.
Extraordinarily interesting.
My dad interviewed at a job there, and he came back and he went, "That was interesting."
Well, I will. Before we get the last part of Vincent's question, I'll tell you what was funny. When we did so well at Le Mans that we got asked to go to Harrods. Dad, me, Andy Wallace, and the team, Dave Price, and everyone. Like a month after the race, and it was a big deal for us to do that. I mean, that was like the state of the art car in the world. No one had seen that, so to race that was incredible. And we go to Harrods, and they had something for us, and we were so excited because the year before they'd personally sponsored Nigel Mansell and with Harrods. And they gave him £100,000 gift card, I'd heard.
The yellow car.
Look at it. That's us. Yeah.
So pretty.
You can buy it as a Scalextrics model, too.
Oh, the car is so pretty.
So there it is.
What a fantastic livery.
Some great, it really is fantastic. So we go to Harrods and we're so excited. We're like, well, if Nigel Mansell got like $100,000, then we must be like 10% of that, right?
Yeah.
And so we're standing there and in comes, Dodi, and not Dodi, the dad, Mr. Mohammed Fayed or whatever, and they all came in, and we're just like, oh, this is gonna be so good. I'm like broke race car, teenage 3-year-old race car driver, and they come up and they gave us teddies, the Harrods teddy bear, and we're like, and I remember I'm looking at
tearing it open.
I'm looking at the teddy, I'm like, looking at its crack. Where is my fucking gift card?
Oh my
I'm
God.
looking, and I got a Harrods teddy bear. Can you believe that? 24 hours of risking our lives, and then we get a fucking teddy bear. I still have the teddy bear.
Can you have the teddy bear
now
still?
you're gonna pull on the Jeep.
Well, the teddy bear is probably worth like $100,000 now.
Yeah,
right. Well, they're listening and they're going, there's diamonds inside it, idiot.
Well, believe me,
cash in on that bear.
It was that. We all did things to those bears. What's the end of Vincent's question? It was about, I think, something about
wheels aside. Have any of you considered aviation?
They're completely people that fly planes. I'm not talking about airline parts. I have a lot of respect for them. I do actually. When you're flying and it's bad weather and they're coming in and wind's blowing around, everyone gets off the plane, doesn't even look at the pilot. I'd be standing there going, do you realize what the fuck I just did? I saved all 350 of you, because we just don't even look at the pilots anymore. They were glamorous people back in the 60s and 50s
I've seen
and 60s
Catch Me
and 70s.
If You Can.
Exactly. But, I actually was one of the Michelin influencers guests her name was Melanie something. She's a top, French aerobatics pilot. One of the few people that does Red Bull racing, so and she does it. And she came on the show with Tommy and I, and it was just impressive. Her neck, she's strong. You can tell she's strong. And I said, don't you do like roll rate of 360 degrees? She went, actually 420 degrees a second. I want you to think about that. It's a roll and a half every second she can do. So that kind of flying, Vincent, no thank you, not even to... But I admire it, and I think everything we do is in 2 dimensions.
Yeah.
They do it in that 3rd dimension, and it's off the charts. Helicopters always appealed. Wouldn't that be nice to land the helicopter?
Oh, it seems pretty cool.
But the minute we can have that little personal flying... when we went out on that Lambo thing,
that
we were just like...
was the best.
LA to thermal, like ballers in that
was awesome.
thing.
That thoroughly ruined Matt. He came back, was just like, I'm done.
Now. Hannah got me a flying lesson for my birthday, and it was great. I had the best time ever, and then they're like, okay, so the next thing is you sign up for this ridiculous class. It costs $20,000. It takes a year. There's nothing in between. It's like full in, and that's it.
Can I tell you what I was doing last weekend that's really important before you ask another question? Or
we only have 2 more, and then we're done.
Go ask 2 more questions.
Justin, was the Smart Electric the worst car you've ever driven on a press trip?
Well, thanks for remembering that. I did my little funny video on it, and I drove around in it. Weirdly enough, I think it's so novel being in a smart car that you don't take anything. You don't sit there and go, God, I wish it was like a Range Rover. You don't sit there and go, God, if it had power like a Lamborghini. You go, I'm in a smart car. How bad can it be? It wasn't the worst car I've ever driven.
Have you ever driven a gas smart car?
But I just couldn't believe. I just couldn't believe
one.
You can just tell, the big company behind it, because who would spend that much? No one else would spend that much money on a press trip to have you drive a smart car. No.
Where was the trip?
It was down in San Diego, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So but it was cool.
It wasn't like Tenerife.
No, that would have been fun. There are some pretty bad ones. Matt does a lot more press trips, and he can't tell you the worst one.
Freddie gave us $50. Thank you, Freddie Tavares.
What's up, Freddie?
Freddie's the man. Thank you. He's coming to LA. He's bringing his. Do you see that? Do you know Freddie, Justin?
No.
Tavares, is that username look
Tavares,
familiar?
yes,
his real name is Freddie.
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping his Mercy for him for a little bit, I think, after SEMA.
Yeah.
Did you see what he did with that thing?
No.
He bought the Mercy from Fast 8.
Furious.
The fucking
Whoa.
just
The orange one?
shit pile beat movie car. Yeah, and he bought it. It was fucked, and he bought it for nothing. And he and his buddies took the whole thing apart.
They did
did a full resto on it.
Jeez,
full custom.
Apparently looks amazing, and so
In real life.
$40,000 paint job, full custom interior, one-off forged carbon parts on the inside. I mean, nobody's ever done this level of customization.
But it's a 6-speed Mercy
on a manual Mercy.
And I saw you just offered me a drive in it. 100% would I drive your car.
When Freddie leaves it with me, we're just gonna.
That's how he got it.
Oh,
yeah, you should
disgusting.
see what the interior looks like now.
I know.
No, it looks good now.
It looks like you just came out of lollipops.
Go to Freddie's Instagram. Go to Tavares on Instagram, and there's pictures of it done, and it looks really, really, really good.
Wow. So let me tell you what I was doing, because I have to tell you, because I'm so proud of it. We went up to, we were in Newport, Rhode Island for the Audrain Newport Concours and Motor Week. Yeah. And we were the host broadcasters as the talk show. We had a full TV trucks, Jason, Brett, my whole crew that we I mean, because they're all TV people. We had the full truck. It was the craziest thing. This guy up there, his name's Nicholas Schorsch. He has 275 cars in his collection, and he and his partners, and they.
Is this like a fund? Is this one of these car funds?
No. Just that. Okay. That's what they just chose to, just for fun. But they created a Pebble Beach on the East Coast, amongst the mansions of Newport, and we were there for 2 weeks beforehand getting it ready. They had
Donald Osborne and Jay were involved, and it was a full. I mean, for a first, not even you
Was
can't
it
say
amazing?
words, just amazing.
Do we have pictures?
And
Newport,
it was-
Rhode Island.
Yeah, totally.
It's hard in LA. You say Newport, I immediately think you're talking about here.
Yeah,
but
no,
Newport, Rhode Island.
that's us on our sets. I mean, look at the way we pimped out.
Oh, I like the castle in the background.
That is Doris Duke's house. Doris Duke, heiress to the
Why do I know that name?
American
Who's that?
tobacco fortune, the wealthiest woman in the world at 20 years old. Well, 12 years old actually, and that's her house. And so what was cool? And this is our set. Look at us all spiffed up. But what was cool about it was back in the 20s. The decadence.
Yeah, it's a
she would have had the
Gatsby
latest.
shit.
It is. It's Gilded Age. They would have had the most current. We had her Rolls Royce there. They had a Packard and all this stuff. They were baller cars of the year of the generation. And now you had the new Koenigsegg there and all the
Cool, I
McLarens.
like it.
So it's like that's exactly what it would have been like at the time.
Next year what we got to do is take the boat. That's what we got to
yes,
do.
we do.
Yacht life.
Oh yeah.
We can do that. We can go to Connecticut and grab the boat, and then we can go out to Newport and really pimp.
Yeah. All I can tell you is that I hope everyone goes up there next year because it just was amazing.
What date? It's just happened.
It'll be in
right?
October. We just literally just did it. So,
Cool. October next year. Let's
October
plan
next
for
year.
it.
Yeah. Really, really fun. And you can come on as a guest spot with me.
Really?
I'd have to get
Thank
you
you.
a t-shirt, but I'll work on it. I'll get.
I can't wear a suit like that.
I want you to wear a suit like that. I want you
That's
to
like my
everything.
wedding suit.
I was gonna say,
I would
wear the
wear
one for your
I'd
wedding.
wear my wedding suit on that.
Yeah, I'm wearing
Perfect.
my not sponsored by Suit Supply shirt.
Are you sponsored by Suit
No.
Supply?
So I go in and the really nice Australian kid in the store in the mall, the big Century City Mall, and he's like, "Oh man, he's checking out my Instagram. You should be sponsored by us." So he connects me with the marketing girl who goes, "Not really our thing." So my hashtags were not sponsored by Suit Supply, and I bought all these suits.
I could get you a suit sponsor if you want. My suit was sponsored
Who by?
by this place called. It's called Groom's Grotto. Although you don't actually have to buy wedding suits, you can get regular.
You don't have to
suits
buy a
there.
bride.
It's full made to measure. They laser scan your body, and then you pick everything, and then they make it, and it's like actually affordable.
Oh,
These guys hooked it up.
Wow,
They
Groom's
hooked it
Grotto.
up. You didn't see my suit? The liner of my suit was the 9/11 shit.
I literally,
Awesome.
I'd never seen so much social media about someone else's nuptials in my life. You see, because I'm actually a fan of other
that
people's
much.
weddings.
It
Other
wasn't
people's
that
weddings
much.
are great. Others,
I thought I had pretty good.
I'm just getting out of
Pretty
one now.
good fucking restraint. That dude on the left, the guy on the left on that picture there is the guy who owns it. His name is Nick. He is cool. He drives a 911. We love him.
Yes,
Well,
Nick is
that's the
cool.
way to
Nick
do
is
it.
Nick is
very
good
cool.
people.
Nick is good people.
Wow.
I met him through Batim. All right. Thanks, Justin. What do you want to plug before we get out of here?
Hey, you know what? We finished the first year of the talk show on Facebook, mainly pushing it through Facebook, and Talk Show Live is our Facebook platform. We've loved it all around the IMSA world. It led to this. Tommy and I are rocking it. It's we're our own masters of our own future, and it's just been brilliant. We're sponsored by Michelin. It's
great.
just brilliant.
That's a good
and,
company to be sponsored
and
by.
it is, and they've just really believed in what we're doing. And
Hashtag just get the Michelins. I've
Just-
used that hashtag many times.
I mean, you know what? If you're not fast enough behind the wheel, buy yourself some Michelins. They really are amazing.
And by the way, if you didn't get it through Justin's accent, it's not the talk show in an
No.
English accent. It's the torque show.
that is exactly what Tommy says at the open of the first show. He goes, "By the way, we've been pitching this to each other for 4 months. I thought it was the talk show, not the talk show." I'm like, I honestly didn't understand that.
Just so the
but
folks
it's-
know.
Yeah.
It's torque show.
Torque
TORQUE.
Yeah, so we're loving it, Matt. I've had a
Thank
good
you.
time. So we're all home now for the winter. We're gonna have some good times. This is now a few months back in LA.
We should safari.
We should safari. I'm gonna have to,
When I get my car out of the Porsche Experience Center, it's in the lobby.
is it?
Yeah, they asked to borrow it for a little bit. So
I don't blame them, guys. This has been real. I'm going
Dude,
to
it was
go.
awesome
I'm
having
going
you here.
for
This is
sushi
great.
now with my girls.
thanks for coming. Don't hurt your back carrying that Leica down the stairs.
No, I won't.
You should peek
I'm
the
actually
box of
going
Spider
around to look at the
before.
box of
It's
Spider just to.
fucking cool, man.
Yeah, this
It's
is it.
really good.
Hey, babe, I'm just coming.
We'll be there soon, sweetie.
Matt says I'll be there soon.
Just listen. Here's the end part. The Smoking
Here's
Tire
the end part.
Podcast is
Hold
powered
on.
by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally something to say.
That's fantastic.
I will
Matt,
see
you've
you
been
guys back here tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday. We'll see you back here on Thursday at 5 p.m. with another Smoking Tire Podcast. Good evening.